Because really what people can see is above the surface. But what they can't see is the work that's been done. The root system is the know-how, the process, okay? Humility, the way you guys handle it more than anybody in the city. One step at a time, right? But the root system's in place. The root system's in place.
It's week number 10 of this National Football League season. Time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy here inside the Globe Life studios at the Star in Frisco. With Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy, I am Bill Jones, and it's the Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles back home this week, Coach, for an NFC East battle, and this is right where you want them, playing at home, right?
Well, definitely. I mean, these division games are obviously the most important of the year, and it's good to be back home. You know, been on the road a couple of weeks. So, yes, Philadelphia's playing very well, but it's time for us to get back to our winning ways.
Okay, let's start with Dak Prescott. I know it had to be very frustrating for him being injured last week, but this is why you set up the quarterback room where it is in anticipation that something like this can happen, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it always takes everybody in the room. It's a very unfortunate injury for Dak, but he's still involved on a daily basis, so it's great to still have him here. But I think the biggest thing is Cooper's prepared for this. We've done this before. So there's tremendous amount of confidence in him, and also this is a good opportunity for Trey Lance now to get some number 2 reps. So this is when the room has to step up.
Cooper in his career 5-1 as a starter. What is it about Cooper Rush that gives him the ability to be able to step in at a moment's notice?
Well, Cooper's played a lot of football. He prepares each and every week as he is a starter, which is important for everybody in the room. So. But he's just always ready to go. I mean, he's on top of everything that we do, and I think it really helps that he's been here going back to the beginning, so he's seen the evolution of the offensive system, going for concepts that are still in from the beginning, concepts that have changed and so forth. So, he's as rehearsed as anybody in the building on our offensive system.
Coming out of the Atlanta game, you had another injury you had to deal with CeeDee Lamb. Got more positive news there. The toughness of CeeDee Lamb, it's so difficult to take him out of a game, even when his shoulder is like it was the other day, right?
Yeah, I mean, CeeDee's a warhorse. He wasn't coming out of the game. I mean, you could tell that's just the way he approaches it. So he just kept fighting and battling. So. But it's been great to have him back out of practice, so it's good to see him get through that.
All right, let's talk about this Eagles defense a little bit. Seems like you play against a Vic Fangio defense about every year, whether it's in Miami or Denver or going back to your days when he was with the Bears. What do you expect when you line up against a Fangio defense?
I think the best compliment you can give a coordinator is, regardless of which team that he works for, you see the consistencies throughout Vic's time as a coordinator. If you go back to San Francisco and Chicago and Miami, Philadelphia, there's so much consistency and continuity, not only the schemes that he plays, but more importantly, how the defense is played. So this is a very well-coordinated defense.
Trade was made on Tuesday. Jonathan Mingo is a second-round draft pick of the Carolina Panthers last year, now in the building. What do you see in Mingo, and how does he get worked in now?
I'm looking forward to seeing him practice today. It's been great getting him here. Just had a little delay on the process, but yeah, we're excited about him. Big physical receiver. Has the ability to play inside and outside. So really looking forward to working with Jonathan.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant, was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues now here inside the Globe Life studio. Bill Jones joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsDayDFW.com. We had to put David on the inactive list last week due to incessant tardiness, but here he is this week. And welcome back.
Hey, most people wanted me on that list long ago. I'm surprised it took this long.
Welcome back to the lineup, which brings us to the running back position for this team. And how about Rico Dowdle? And now he had 12 carries for 75 yards. That's 6.5 yards a carry.
It was outstanding. And we haven't even mentioned the touchdown pass he had while on his back. That was truly a circus catch. I think that's used too often, but in this case, I think it applied. An outstanding game, his best of the season. Overall, as a team, it was their best rushing game this season. So you really need to carry that forward now that you know you're going to be without Dak Prescott for a prolonged stretch, and Cooper Rush is going to be in there. Cooper Rush has shown he can handle this position and win for you, but you need that running game in place. And so you're starting to see a little traction there. They certainly need to carry it forward.
All right, this is an obvious question. The return of Micah Parsons.
Those are the only kinds I can answer, really.
The return of Micah Parsons. Here's a layup for you. How big is that?
That should help, Bill. No.
How big is that for this Dallas defense?
Well, they've had no consistent pressure. I thought they actually did a pretty good job in the Atlanta game, the first game without, really with Micah out, that they've had consistent pressure in the game where you noticed it throughout. But bringing him back will just ramp everything up. And you know, I think a lot of times when you're compensating for an area, cracks show in others. And like a lot of the crossing routes you were seeing teams hit, I think it was because that Mike Zimmer was having to bring an extra defender. He couldn't get the rush with 4, so he's bringing 5, and you're creating some spaces underneath that I think teams were exploiting. With Mike in there, you should be able to get some pressure rushing 4, and that helps you balance that back end more than what they've been able to do.
And listen to Micah in the locker room the other day. I mean, I don't think it's just lip service. He truly believes this team can get back in it with Cooper Rush at quarterback. Looking at Cooper's track record, he's 5-1 as a starting quarterback. But this is a critical stretch when you look at who they're playing, starting with Philadelphia here in November.
Well, this month will tell the tale on whether or not they can get back into this thing, because 3 of the 4 games are divisions. And, you know, when this winning streak started, it's just 3 games now, which is the longest since Mike McCarthy's first season here. What were the players leaning on? Well, we still have the division games. We've only played 1 division game. They have to win here in November, these 3 division games. That can get them back in the race. If not, then this thing looks different going into December if they're unable to do that.
Of course, it's Philadelphia this week, Houston next week, and then back-to-back division games against Washington.
2 and 5 days, yeah.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving week. David Moore, we appreciate it. Up next here on the Mike McCarthy Show, we check in with one of the new Cowboy players this season, Carl Lawson, who had a big day in Atlanta.
This segment was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. This segment is brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Let's check in with the guy who had 2 sacks against the Falcons last week. That would be Carl Lawson.
It's very important for me to lead by example because it sends down a trickle-down effect for guys who just don't know or haven't been taught how to operate in the league and get success. So it's very important for me to go about my business every day and just be the best I can possibly be. I think with Saquon, it's just a very elusive, patient, explosive runner. And then you've got that big offensive line. But I faced something like this before, kind of when Le'Veon and the Steelers were going. So it's kind of very similar. Big bodies, up there. So that way he can sneak and move around. So we got to be very diligent, attack, and so we can get dub. Toughest person I ever faced on the offensive line. I haven't had many offensive linemen who I just couldn't beat, but I think my rookie year I got introduced to a player. I think his name was Charles Leno, and most guys were like, "You had trouble with Charles Leno?" I was like, "Yeah," because the league is all about matchups, and so he was just a tough matchup for me that first time because as soon as I said down, said hut, he punched me in my face. And then another guy we actually got here is Chuma Adoba. He kind of does something similar. So going against Charles helped me go against Chuma because they play similar and they want to stop you before you get going. So I think Charles will know my rookie year was probably like the hardest guy I had to go against. It brings confidence, but I knew I was going to do it way before it happened. You know, I work diligent every day. I work like my life is on the line. I knew eventually the dam was going to break. I just need to get into those repetitions. So it felt amazing, but like I had premonition. I think that's the word I can use. I've had dreams about that, and I have dreams about many more to come.
And here's who Carl Lawson and the rest of the Cowboys will be facing on Sunday. Will McClay here to break down the Eagles. Let's look at their offense. Let's start, how about with Saquon Barkley? He's having a phenomenal season so far.
Averaging almost 6 yards a carry here, but he's also got 2 receiving touchdowns, so in the passing game and the rushing game. But take a look at him here. His patience, he sets up the block, and then his ability to accelerate and get to the second and third level of defense, bust some hamstrings about 22 miles an hour there.
And he's a big reason that they're number 2 in the league in rushing offense. And here's another reason why. Number 1, the guy that plays quarterback, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, makes you account for the 11th guy defensively, all right? You think you got him hemmed in. They do a great job here. As soon as the defensive line tucks it, there's a void there, and now he's going to capitalize on that. And then it's like tackling a running back when he gets out there with the size and strength.
All told, he's got 18 touchdowns on the season, both rushing and passing. How about throwing the football and finding that guy Barkley?
Yeah, I mean, what they do a great job here is finding isolations right here. So he's going to read the coverage. You'll see Jalen try and move the safety. Now he knows he's got man-to-man with Saquon on the linebacker. Even leaving, he does a great job with these touch deep balls and one-on-one. And a great throw to Barkley here.
A couple of wide receivers, A.J. Brown, but let's focus in on Devontae Smith. And what a catch he made last week against Jacksonville.
Yeah, very much kind of like the forgotten guy, right? He's averaging almost 14 yards a catch. Hey, they got 3-by-1 over there. He's over here by himself. Jalen's going to look at the safety again. All right, now he's going to see I got one-on-one coverage here. And again, that throw, but it's the catch, the one-handed catch, and then staying in bounds.
Wow. Okay, on defense, they have one defensive draft philosophy. Draft as many Georgia Bulldogs as possible. Jalen Carter is one of them.
And here's a good one. We'll talk about him in the run and pass. Really, in the run defense, he's a penetrating guy. It means he wants to get upfield, but you have to play blocks. You look at him here. They think they've got him sealed off, but now the ability to play over the top and make a play in the run game is what makes him dangerous there.
All right, but he can also get to the quarterback, can't he?
Yes. We'll take a look at him right here. It's the one-on-one matchups. He does it with power. He does it with speed, but he's really violent with his hands. To take a person, sling him to the side like that, and then make that play, we've got to anchor in on him and make him work for it.
Just an example of what to look for on Sunday. Our thanks to Will McClay, and the Coach rejoins us when the Mike McCarthy Show continues in a moment.
This segment was brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Bill Jones with Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy. Let's talk about the defense a little bit, and in particular about Micah Parsons. It's now been a full 6 weeks since we've seen Micah in a game. Just how much is Micah itching to get back out there?
Oh, no, Mike is definitely itching to get back out there. You know, he's had a good week of practice so far, so we just got to be smart. We have to go through the whole week. But yes, definitely. I mean, his presence is felt, and just, you know, the opportunities that not only that he creates, but the opportunities he creates for others.
Okay, going up against this Philadelphia offense, of course, Kellen Moore, now the offensive coordinator, Doug Nussmeier, quarterback's coach, very familiar with them. Do you see, just pulling back the curtains a little bit, when you go look at a team, can you, us neophytes, we don't see the nuances of an offense. Can you see wrinkles that were the Kellen Moore offense there with them?
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's as a coordinator, your fingerprints need to be all over it. But I think just like anything, when you go into an organization, and Philadelphia has been very successful. They have a history, conceptually how they play, starting with their offensive line, and their quarterback. So you don't see a tremendous amount of change as you saw, for instance, when Kellen went to the Chargers. So you do see a lot of carryover, but I'd say that's the biggest change is Saquon Barkley. I mean, he has really made their offense different, different from the offenses that we played in the past.
And of course, one of the big keys for him, he's been healthy the first half of the season. He's on a pace to have a 2,000-yard rushing season. How difficult is it when you add Barkley to the mix, and especially with the run threat of the quarterback Hurts as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's an excellent football team. All the way through. Offensively, they have experience, have playmakers at all 5 positions. Quarterback, running back, and tight end, both receivers. So, and that's the first thing I always look for, in an offense. But yes, it's going to definitely be a challenge, and just like anything, we say it every week. It starts with stopping and running the ball. So that'll definitely be a focus Sunday.
All right, Carl Lawson had a couple of sacks in last week's game. What's it been like for this veteran coming in here and now getting the production on the field?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, I think just like anything. I mean, Carl arrived late. There was definitely a transition period for him. Not only just getting back, into it, but also, adapting to a little different scheme. He hadn't played in a while, but yeah, I mean, obviously very, very impactful in the game. The turnovers, we need more of them, but it was good to get that started. So I like the way Carl played.
Out here on the practice field this time of the year, especially with your schedule every year, where you're looking at 3 games in a span of about 12 days coming up later this month, how important are these padded practices that you're getting here, because you're not going to have the ability to do that here in a couple of weeks?
I mean, I feel they're critical. I think just like anything, when you put a number on something that's as valuable as padded work, you have to make sure you get it in, and frankly, there's timing to it too. So you want to spread it out, but also the challenges of your schedule. That's what's coming up. So this is Thursday practice is a big practice for us, and then we go into a longer Monday night week, then into a short week. So it's getting to the point in the season. It's usually right around Thanksgiving where we'll really have to start cutting back practice, being smarter with our guys. Because there is a long plan in all this, when you come out of training camp. So, but yes, these padded practices are not only important for the game we're getting ready to play, but they're critical to the development of our young players.
All right, we will wrap up the Mike McCarthy Show when we come back in just a moment.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Final couple of minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. And with the situation you've got at quarterback, I want to focus in on the unsung stars you have in your quarterback room, and that would be those coaches. And it takes a village to get the starting quarterback ready to play each week. Cooper Rush has been a part of that, getting Dak ready. Now he's the guy out on the field. But Brian Schottenheimer, your offensive coordinator, Scott Tolzien, the quarterback's coach. It does take a lot of people, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. And there's a couple more to add to that, Ryan Feeder and Chase Hazlitt. So all 4 of those guys do a tremendous job in the room, and everybody has a key role. Brian does a great job from the coordinator's position, really overseeing everything, really staying on top of the defense, not just what we do offensively, but the defense we're getting ready to play. So I think he does an exceptional job there. Scott does the heavy lifting in the quarterback room. You see him with the drill work and the quarterback school and all the extra details, the little things that he's constantly reminding, and he's got a great work ethic, played the position, so he's been in this system a long time. Chase does a really nice job, particularly in the defensive identification, recognition, anticipation, not only throughout the week but also on game day. So I think Brian and myself, particularly the job responsibilities, the things that they're doing during the course of the week, they're also directly doing on game day. And Ryan Feeder, he speaks in front of the team, a couple times a week for all the game management. We've been together, about 10 plus years now, and also that's his responsibility in the box on game day. So that is probably one of my favorite Unsung Hero Awards, because that's a excellent, that's a great group.
All right, and I can't think of a better way to celebrate a birthday than with a victory over the Eagles on Sunday. What do you think?
I'm all for it. Yes, that'd be a great birthday.
Let me be the first to wish you a happy birthday on Sunday. Thanks to Coach, and thanks to all of you for joining us here for the Mike McCarthy Show, and we will see you again next week as the Cowboys take on the Houston Texans.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant, is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.